Here are the 6 steps that you can take to sell your business for a higher price if you need to sell right away. Now, the ideal situation for a business sale is to start prepping about 3 years before the actual transaction. But we know for most people that's not always possible, and sometimes there's ready to sell now. So if you find yourself in that situation, here's what you can do. 1, just make sure that your information is well presented. Your business broker, your advisor is going to be a representation of you, and they're going to be the first impression of your business to those buyers. So make sure it's a good first impression, that the marketing documents are well put together, they're polished, they look nice, that your financials are well presented, that you have it together, that you've got your balance sheet, your income statement, your statement of cash flows, your accounts receivable aging, that you have all that information presented well. When we look at businesses that are out there for sale, we see that 95% of brokers put 0 effort into these marketing materials, but they are very important to the value of your business. So make sure you're going to work with someone that's going to spend some time and put in the effort to get the job done right. And not only will high quality marketing materials help you get a higher price, is that they can save a lot of your time. We see a lot of brokers, they'll just toss out like emails with some basic financial statements with no real information, which means that buyers have to go and interview you, the seller. They have to take your time to learn about the business. So if you have a well presented, they call it a CIM, confidential information memorandum, or a CBR, confidential business review, they're the same thing. Different brokers have different terms for them. If that document is put together well and it answers all the important questions for the buyers, then you don't have to talk to them. So you can talk to fewer buyers and get the higher price for the business. And number 2, you might want to consider some seller financing. Most buyers are going to use borrowed funds to go and buy the business. And if you're running a lot of personal expenses through, or you have some discrepancies in your accounting, then lenders are not going to lend against that cash flow. Or maybe your tax returns don't show the business as profitable as it truly is. So if you have a business that actually generates more cash than what it's really showing on the tax returns through, what common add backs that banks might consider, like depreciation, amortization, interest, and your salary. If when you add those back, you still aren't showing a lot of cash flow, but your business really is generating cash, you might want to consider some seller financing to get a higher price. 3, one way to fix that though is to give your books a quick scrub. Even in a short time, you can go clean up your accounts receivable. You can start making calls, start making write-offs, because a large accounts receivable on the balance sheet signals to a buyer that it's a very capital intensive business, that they're going to need a lot of working capital. It's also going to signal that to the lender. So you want to try to shrink that accounts receivable. It'll also, if you're reporting on a cash basis, it'll bring in more cash, it'll show more profits to the business. You want to make sure everything's categorized correctly and worded in a way that's going to be buyer and lender friendly. Now, there's lots of bookkeepers that offer bookkeeping cleanup. We do it for our clients. Prior to listing, we have a service where we will clean up your books. Number 4 is you can promote someone to manager. This only works if you have a long-time employee that's really ready for that, but having a general manager in place can greatly increase the value of the business. So if you've got a number 2 who's ready to take that next step, then you should promote them before you do the sale. Number 5, you want to have a third-party advisor go out and possibly approach strategic acquirers. So those might be people that operate in your industry like competitors, or it could be your customers or your suppliers. Now, those discussions can be quite delicate because you probably don't want them to know that your business is for sale. Why often it's good to have a third party go out and make those contacts, unless you really have someone that you know really well and you can just reach out and do a handshake deal. But in most instances, that's not going to work. In other instances, you want to have a third party go out and see, because those types of buyers, when they're not going to likely be as bank loan heavy, so they can work with financial statements that aren't as perfect. They can pay more because usually they have some type of cost-cutting strategies and they have better insight into the industry and your business. So strategic buyers usually are the best buyers anyway. They typically pay the highest price. And number 6 is our favorite for quick exit. Sell to an employee. So that GM you're thinking about promoting in number 4, sell them the business. And this is much easier than you think it is. So through the Small Business Administration, they offer loans up to $5 million for business acquisitions. And for a senior employee buying out a business, the required down payment is 0 for them. So really all they need to do is bring their skills and expertise to the table, and via those SBA-backed loans, they can get the money. They don't even need to have that great of a credit score. We've done deals with where a general manager has a 600 credit score, which isn't very high. And they could still get the deal done because the bank feels comfortable in their ability to run the business because they're already running it today. So probably your best venue for a quick sale is if you have an employee within the company that's ready to buy it. For deals above 5 million, bigger deals, if you want to sell to your employees, there's ESOP options, but that's probably not going to be quick. So if you have any questions about getting your business ready for sale, leave them in the comments. And if you need help, reach out.